Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Court of Swords. Hi. Hello.
Hello. Hi there.
Hi.
It's the final show of 2016.
It is. And like the rest of 2016, some important people are gonna die.
That's true.
Oh,
That's true.
Well, all right.
That might be too soon.
Fuck you, 2016. You are the worst.
2016 can officially go eat it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
yeah.
Whatever sort of genital 2016 doesn't want to eat.
I guess so. I guess that makes sense. You could say that. Let's keep the intro short here. We'll just go around. Max, what's your... No one's listening that gave you a gift. So what's your favorite gift that you got for Christmas? All right. The singular gift you got for Christmas. What is it?
Some of them aren't even here. So, I don't know as of yet, but for right now, I think it's probably just some Mass Effect socks, to be honest.
Meaning you haven't opened them? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're not here. Like they were ordered, but haven't like arrived yet.
Oh.
Like with me too. Like I had, since I've been here and stuff, I haven't ordered like the stuff, or I have to wait for stuff to get here, after Christmas or whatever. But it's fine because we didn't have the whole to do with like Christmas tree and all that stuff anyway. So
yeah.
Honestly, some Mass Effect socks. Malcolm got a nice little N7 like handkerchief thing.
Oh, nice.
So he's wearing that right now.
Nice. We should also state that it was your birthday.
Yeah, it was my birthday on Christmas. Every year, the same day, in fact.
How does that work for you? Because I've got a holiday adjacent birthday as well. Do you like hate Christmas? Do you feel like you have to share Christmas?
No, I actually grew up not really like celebrating Christmas or birthdays, so it was just kind of like normal for just it to be like a normal kind of day thing. So it really hasn't. I didn't like grow up like resenting things and stuff. It's just like, it's another day. And as an adult now, it's still pretty cool. Like, having like, okay, cool. Yeah. It's like birthday, Christmas. Last year, literally, I just did a stream because it fell on fucked up Friday. It's my birthday and Christmas. So I was like, I started out the stream just like, there's no way I'm starting this stream letting you know right now. I'm going to be hammered by the end. Like, those three things happen. And this year I did a stream before Christmas because I knew I was going to be doing some stuff with Amanda's family. But yeah, it's just another day. I've always liked Christmas in general, just because of the music, the vibe of it, and just like, giving shit and whatever. But it was neat.
Are you doing anything for New Year's?
No plans as of yet.
I'm not doing anything either. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. We'll probably just do like me and Amanda will just like chill, maybe pop some champagne. I don't know.
Yeah.
I usually at least get like some caviar or something just because I never eat caviar. And I'm like, all right, might as well. Let's eat some salty fish eggs.
Yeah, I went, if you follow my Twitter, I went and bought a $100 prime rib to sous vide.
Jesus. Is that your plan?
It's the plan. Yeah, we're going to put it in at like Friday at like 7 o'clock because it's supposed to take 24 hours to sous vide. So
Yeah.
we also got a rack of ribs as well, so we might do those at the same time. I don't know.
Do you still have the what's it called, the family and stuff over then throughout New Year's?
No. I'm hoping that someone else comes over and helps me eat that. Besides, because I don't know, Aaron's not going to eat that much of it. I'll eat a decent amount, but it's 6 pounds of meat.
Oh my God.
It's about that big.
I'm coming over now.
So we're gonna try to invite some people over just for the day. But
Yeah, that'd be way too much food for just even Aaron.
yeah, we did chicken for the first time in the sous vide thing last night.
How'd that? Yeah, I was gonna say how did
It
that
was
turn out?
okay. It was.
I think it's more of like a meat, like beef and stuff like that.
I mean, it wasn't like bad chicken. It just comes out. It's so white when it comes out. It looks like ghost food.
Yeah,
It looks like food that's been drained of all its blood, and you're eating ghost food.
Yeah. It tastes delicious, but yeah, the steaks, they come out looking pretty pale, and then you flash, and you're like, all right, that's a steak.
And like because like it's red and it looks like meat. The fucking chicken. You know what it looks like? It looks like the blood from the cyborgs and Aliens.
Oh yeah,
like milk or like thin glue.
it does. Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
Stuff.
I mean, that makes sense though, because that's what like stuff looks like when you boil it, right?
Yeah,
That's essentially what you're doing. You're like just very controlled, very intense boiling something.
yeah. And then we grilled it, and it looked a lot better. We did fajitas with it, so it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. I'm interested to see how the prime rib turns out, though.
That'll probably turn out really fucking good.
I'm hoping so. But I'm also worried about keeping it in there for 24 hours. That's a long time.
That is a long time, but it's controlled, right?
Yeah, it's not like it's a brisket or something out on a smoke pit where I have to turn it constantly, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Ooh, nice cup there.
oh yeah, Aaron got this for me for Christmas. It's pretty good.
What is your favorite thing that you got? It's my cup.
It's. Does it count if you get yourself something? Is that really bad to say?
Sure, why not? Go ahead. What was it?
We were sitting. Sean is the reason this fucking happened. We're sitting there on because his flight was delayed, right, on Sunday, so he stayed till Monday. And he had the TV at 100. He goes, man, this isn't loud at all. Like the TV, it looks great, but it doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, that was we kept
You
turning up the
guys
TV.
kept turning it up, and so I ordered some wireless Sonos 5.1 speakers. last night.
Yeah, Sonos are great, dude.
So I want to see what I don't have them yet. I overnighted
You'll
them.
love them. They're
I'm
great.
hoping they're good.
Can I want to make an observation about you, JP.
Yeah.
I think you tell me if I'm wrong about this.
Go ahead.
You strike me. I think there's two kinds of people in the world when it comes to like gift giving occasions.
Yes.
There are people who really like being surprised by people giving them gifts, and there are people who really like surprising people by giving. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess you're the latter of the two.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're the kind of person that gets real hype about giving people presents.
Oh yeah. No, I spend
Yeah.
way too much money on presents this year. I gave my one of my cousins. She's into anime, and no one else in my family because we live in Texas. They're like, "What's anime? I don't understand what that is. It's a bunch of cartoons." So they don't understand it, right? So every year I get her like she reads, and I hate this word because I'm going to pronounce it. Manga.
Manga.
I never nail it right.
Pronounced manga.
Yeah, I got her like 40 issues of manga, and she like freaked the fuck out when she opened them. Of manga or whatever. She also got Jenga as well.
Magna, the tribal beast
that's confusing. I
warrior.
got her some manga about Jenga.
No, she got a lot of that. And then
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got my brother and sister-in-law a 4K TV. And then I got my dad a 4K drone that I get to go fly with them and crash. So that's gonna be fun.
The DJI thing.
Yeah. It was a hell of a sale on Black Friday. You got the drone, you got a steel case for the drone that was made for it, so all the
That's
stuff
awesome.
inside, 2 gigabyte external hard drive, and an extra battery, and it was $750.
14, 12 kiloton warheads.
It was great. It saved about $800 on that, so that was cool.
I wanted to get one of those drones, but I'm holding off until the Mavic Pro or whatever comes out. It's like the one that's really portable.
Is that the one where it can like go into like a little square like that? It folds up.
It like
Yeah,
folds up. Yeah, I want that.
yeah. I started. Casey Neistat got me into drones. Max, did you know that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
When I saw that you got that drone, I'm like, it's 1,000% because of Casey.
Yeah, well, my dad's also been interested in it. It's so funny. He was interested, so he bought himself a lot of guns.
Yeah.
I mean, it's South Texas. It happens. He bought himself a lot of guns, and he always said he would go to the store, he'd go to Bass Pro Shop, and he'd be like, "I can either get a gun, or I can get a drone, and I don't know how to fly a drone, so I'm going to buy a gun." So then we finally got him a bunch of drones yesterday, and hopefully he'll stop buying guns.
You attach your guns to your drones.
Yeah, hopefully he stops buying guns after
Either
that.
that or shoot stuff and then go send the drone to see if it got it.
Well, that's the other thing I said. Well, now you have enough guns that we can all have a gun to shoot at the drone while you fly it. He thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, I definitely am the latter of your.
I usually am that too. Yeah. I don't really. It's very hard to shop for me. Most people just end up getting me Mass Effect stuff because they know I like that, which is totally fine because I like Mass Effect stuff. But other than that, I'm just the sort of person. I think JP's the same. If there's something I really want, I just buy it myself.
Yep.
The problem is we're nerds. We're nerds with disposable income, and so when we want something, we buy it for ourselves. And then when it's like Christmas, people are like, "Well, what do you want?" I'm like, "The only stuff I don't already have is shit that's way too expensive for me to buy myself. So I'm not going to get you to buy it for me." Like,
Exactly. I just feel bad.
Yeah, Aaron.
Unless it's-
I got a lot of shit from Aaron this year. I don't know what to fucking buy. You buy everything. It's like, well, don't give me anything.
The thing, yeah, if somebody doesn't give me anything, I'm totally okay with that.
Aaron-
It actually makes it better because then it's less stress on me to be like, well, I also didn't get you anything.
Oh, right.
the problem, JP, too, is that Aaron is the same kind of person as you. So there's just like massive present crossfire.
But I got Erin the best. Look, next time you see Erin, ask her about her gift or tweet at her. Yeah, pretty good gift. Pretty.
I feel like she's the sort of person that I know this for a fact that she tries to get like the perfect gift.
Yeah,
a lot of energy.
I mean, she did a pretty. She got me a vacuum sealer for the sous vide.
Nice.
And then a 4K Blu-ray player.
Damn.
She knows.
Yeah. And then yesterday we were at the grocery store up the street. I think you guys have been to that one when you were here. And they had the 4K Blu-rays. They had a coupon which was $5 off on any 4K Blu-ray. So I bought like 10. So now I got all these 4K movies to watch. That I bought like the Batman vs Superman 4K because fucking that movie's terrible, but I'm still gonna watch it.
I mean, this is exactly what happened when Blu-rays came out, right? Like people would just buy stuff. You're like, whoa, I get this on Blu-ray. They're like, what? Wait, I don't need to ever watch this again. What am I doing?
Yeah,
just to have it. Plus,
I did get
like rejected anything that is now 1080p and
I can't watch that garbage. I did get The Revenant.
So bad.
I did get The Revenant, and I haven't seen that yet. And I get to watch it in 4K, so I'm gonna wait till I get the speakers, so it'll be great.
That'll be good to watch in 4K.
Yeah,
there's a lot of really nice shots in that movie.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that. But Dan, what about you? What's the singular best gift you got?
I didn't get anything.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't get any gift.
I gotta get you something right now. Change your address, Dan.
What do you want, Dan?
What do you want, Dan? I'm on Amazon.com. They got a lot of stuff.
We'll do a Court of Swords white elephant.
I just don't need anything. Like I have like a lot of disposable income. If I want something, I just buy it. So I don't really need anything. I told people not to buy me stuff, so I don't have to buy them stuff.
I mean, yeah, respectable.
Motherfucker. We got to get Dan something.
All right, conspiracy to purchase a present for Dan.
Yeah. Everyone go subscribe to Dan. He didn't get a gift. Go sub.
Feels bad, man. Everyone's saying in the chat. More like feels bad, Dan.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I wish they would allow popular. Well, that's not even a Feels Bad Man's not even a Twitch emote. It's a BTTV emote. So.
I know. Yeah. Just.
I wish they would allow all that stuff so that broadcasters could have. You know, like everyone has like a Kappa. You can have like 2 Kappa emotes or something like that. Mm-hmm. They should just make it like Kappa Dan or Kappa Gassy or Kappa at like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I hope they let us add like animated emotes, like you know how they have the cheer emotes.
Yeah,
I think we could have
eventually they'll add in stuff like that, so we can have our cheer emotes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll stray away from the like having it. You have to cheer, to use those animated ones.
Yeah. Even if they're just like only on your channel, like I think it would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if everyone gets an animated GIF emote though, like chat is going to look real ridiculous.
I think that's what they're doing. They're testing the waters with the cheer emotes. To see exactly how much the spam is.
It's going to look real ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, are you doing anything for New Year's? Or are you just hanging out?
I'll be. I do my Kickstarter plus Game of the Year awards thing every year. I go through all the games I played and like pick the best ones and stuff.
Who's gonna win?
Yeah, what's your game of the year?
It's a surprise. I can't spoil it, but
I was trying to see if I could just get like a knee-jerk reaction out of him, like, "Oh, it's this one."
Yeah.
It's tough this year because there's quite a few awesome ones. Like there was a lot of really good ones.
There was a lot of great games. Yeah,
it'd be hard to pick just one, but
there was a lot of like great, very long games, and there's also like I feel like at least when we were doing the drop frames list. I almost wanted to make 2 lists, games that were over 10 hours and games that were under 5 hours. Because there's a lot of games that were under 5 hours that were great, but they can't. Like, if you compare them to a game that's much bigger and longer, like, you can't because it's just different. Like, it's a different experience altogether.
Yeah, good in a totally different way.
Yeah.
So. Longer game has more room to be better, but it also has more opportunity to fuck up. Whereas, like, a 5-hour game, they get to say one thing and they're done.
Yeah.
There's also a surprising number of good indie games. Like Stardew Valley came out of nowhere, and that was like amazing. Yeah. And a lot of other ones.
Yeah, word.
There's a lot. There's a lot for sure. Adam, what about you? Your singular gift, and then we'll get started.
I didn't do a ton of like gift stuff either. I bought presents for a bunch of people, but like I bought myself a new computer in November and a camcorder right after that, so I'm like kind of tapped out on even self presents.
Been enjoying that camcorder though?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you wouldn't know it thanks to Zoom, but Over on my channel, I'm looking fucking crispy.
Oh, is that what you're using right now?
Yeah.
Do you have it hooked
We
up
look
to
a
a
little
mage roll?
crispier than usual, just because there's 3 of us or 4 of us now instead of 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Zoom works.
So
I'm
you
looking a little
you have a
weird. I don't
mage
know
roll
if
feeding into XSplit right now, Adam? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My collection of mage wells is growing. I have 2 now. We'll just keep adding them.
They're the best capture cards.
I know. I'm really like, people look at them and they're like, what the hell, $300, but they're actually like really amazingly good.
Yeah.
So.
I've had the prototype version that they sent me for like 3 years, and it still has not died.
Yeah.
It's fucking a good card.
You're saying there's like, and of course, as high master of all things 4K, they're making a 4K version soon.
Well, the 4K version exists, but it's 4K 30. They have a 4K
Right.
60 card that came out the beginning of December. That I might get it. I don't know. It's like $1,400.
You can't push out in 4K. Like,
Yeah. The other thing too is
you
push
don't
out
start
streams at that resolution.
Yeah, streaming. streaming.
once you hit
4K.
1440p, which is 2 times 1080, the text gets pretty small on stream. It's
Yeah.
pretty hard to read if you're playing like anything that doesn't have a scalable UI.
Listen, it's fine. We all know Twitch chat is illiterate, so they don't need
Yeah.
to read the screen.
So
It's-
if you go 4K, I mean, it's fucking like super tiny. It's like that big on screen, and it's all.
Yeah.
If you're downscaling to 720p, it looks like shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we can dream about those 4K 60 at 6,000.
yeah, I know a couple people are starting to stream in 1080p 60 now at 4.5 bit rate. I don't think it's the way to go, but it looks all right. I guess if you're doing 4K, then
Yeah.
isn't it 1080p technically supported now on Twitch? But it's
I mean 1080p 30 has been for a while, but yeah, for a lot of their
you don't have
esports
the
stuff.
bitrate for it. Like, it's like
Yeah, a lot of the esports tournaments will push 5K at.
Yeah,
1080p
and that's
60.
why whenever there's an esports tournament, the whole rest of Twitch dies because they're using up all the bandwidth. Yeah, because it's an insane amount of bandwidth if you stream for any length of time at that high of frame rate and bit rate. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess before we actually get started here, we should say if you haven't watched episode 17, the first episode just came out on YouTube today. Just stop watching, unless you don't care about spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
You can tell by all our names, it's a little bit different. And I guess we'll have Adam introduce why right now. That's a segue.
Yeah.
They call that a segue, folks.
Yeah, so some things occurred in the last episode, and with Sean being on vacation for a couple of weeks, it precipitated us creating new characters. Fear not, Berg is still alive.
Ha!
Berg and Personagetron and Azure Vortex survived the grueling 4-hour bloodshed of the last session. So we need to make new characters. And rather than have both Sean and Max stay out, because God knows if you've run 5th edition D&D, you know 2 players is not an acceptable number of players for this game. Rather than
the way we play.
Rather than do that, we decided to make 3 new characters and roll in with a 2-week kind of mini thing to catch these characters up with the other characters and get everything all aligned. I'm particularly interested to find out when we get there, because we'll see what happens today and next week. But I'm curious to find out where you end up, Max. Whether you decide to pick Berg back up or
We'll see. I don't
stay with Volnak.
I don't know. We'll see how Volnak how I end up liking him, or if he survives.
Yeah. See how he feels. That's fair. So we had talked about all 3 of these characters start at 900 experience, start right at the beginning of level 3. Before I forget, Max, do you want to add 580 experience to Berg's character sheet?
Yeah.
This is all the experience from the previous 2 episodes that we didn't tally up.
Okay.
So you have another 580. Personagetron will get that same 580.
It's a hefty amount.
And then whatever you earn as Volnak, if you want to keep Volnak, you just keep playing. If you want to switch over to Berg, you can take your earned experience, whatever you have above 900, and jump it over on Berg. So you can choose either way. I think that's it for mathematical stuff, mechanical hoo-ha. Let's talk a little bit about your characters. Why don't we go around and we'll just get the base kind of introduction. Just tell us like the class you're playing, the race of your character. Talk a little bit about your kind of ideas for the character, why you made the choices that you did, and then once everybody's got their kind of individual thing, we'll talk about how these three characters ended up together and what you're doing here in the world of Court of Swords, because we're seeing some strange new things that we haven't seen before. Do you wanna go first, Gassy? You want to talk about Volnak a little bit?
Sure. Volnak, as all of us, are Azimar, which, as I understand, are angelic kind of races. They're not quite exactly angels, but they're like the manifestation of angels, kind of like the Nephilim-ish in old biblical times. They have ties to, angelic creatures and stuff, but they're on the earth. My guy is called Volnak, and he is a protector, Azimar, and he is a monk. And yeah, he's dope. I'm just kind of ever evolving and thinking of his backstory as it goes. It's not 100% set, but he's extremely motivated to dispelling evil in the world. He's disgusted by the Mara, and he wishes obviously to protect those who are in need of it, and obviously has ties to his two cohorts. And he also is a painter.
Yeah, I was saying to Max before we got started, the painter thing is like it's primo. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, he's a monk that paints. In his previous life,
what kind of paintings do you do?
Some of them are interpretive. It's just abstract shapes that he sees, and then he just kind of combines them. But other times he'll paint his scenery in his area if he needs to just de-stress, and maybe perhaps after a combat, he'll actually, I'll say definitely after combat, if there's a moment where he can do it, he'll just paint to kind of distress, meditate. That's his form of meditation. It's what it's kind of manifested into. It used to be proper, regular meditation, but now he kind of combines his ability to paint. And he does want to paint the world better, literally and figuratively.
I like it.
It's better light.
Yeah, so your character, you're a monk. You're about focusing on inner strength. What you took the path of the open hand? Is that when you did?
The path of the open hand, yeah.
Right. So yeah, very definitely about your character as a physical entity in the world, internal strength, that kind of thing. Rather than like mastering the world around you, you observe it and meditate on its nature, and then punch the shit out of it when you need to.
Exactly right. Just because he has a delicate side and an artisanal side, he's got a mean fucking punch, man.
as one does. If you want to protect the earth, you got to know how to strike evil where it lives.
Yeah, and my stats aren't shit this time, Adam.
That's true. You rolled pretty well.
And I rolled all of those, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So you're a protector, Azimar. We'll talk a little bit. I want to go through talking to everybody about what being a part angel is like. Talk a little bit about the cosmology of the world. But let's get introduced to Azrael. What kind of character are you?
Azrael is a paladin. Azrael, at a very young age, his brother Mihal was killed defending him from an invasion of from the Mara of the town. So his brother died defending so he could get away, and he spent his entire life first he was devastated, and he prayed to the gods for an answer of how to combat the Mara, and he decided to train into becoming a paladin to fight against the evil. And then later in his life, he started getting visions in his dreams of a place, of just this cave that just kept dreaming again and again and again. And he decided to set out in search of this place on a long hermitage. And then after years, he finally found it. And inside the cave, he found this unique sword. It doesn't appear to be magical, but it's like of no make that anyone can determine. And ever since he found this sword, in his dreams, sometimes he dreams where he hears this vibration sounds in his mind, and he sees things. It's almost as if it's speaking to him or he's speaking to it. He's not really sure. no mage or cleric's ever been able to determine what this sword is. He calls it Balder. He gets given it a name, but it's just based on a god he heard in a story a long time ago. And so his whole life is about avenging his brother. So he took the path of the oath of vengeance as the paladin, and he's trying to avenge his brother's death.
Nice. So your brother was taken from you by the Mara, and it's personal. It's a personal quest for you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. I think so. Just as a thing about paladins, so clerics in the Court of Swords serve a particular station of the Arcana. They're raised and trained to identify and follow the part of the Arcana that speaks to them. So some are drawn to temperance, some are drawn to the sun. But with paladins, they serve a higher source of divine energy. There's something called the fountain, and in the various religious texts, sometimes it's a place. People refer to going to the fountain. Sometimes it's an object, like a literal fountain. Other times it's a metaphor for a font, a source of power and light. But whatever it is, that's the direct thing that paladins serve. They draw their authority and power from the fountain itself, which means that even more so than clerics, they're sort of on their own. They have power and authority, but no real guidance, no scripture to follow them. There's no priesthood of the fountain. So you have this sense of righteousness, but no real like precepts to follow except what feels right in your heart. Paladins tend to be somewhat solitary rather than belonging to like larger orders, which makes sense if you're on a quest for vengeance against evil.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. Let's talk about Raziel a little bit. Tell us about your character, JP.
So I apologize if my voice gives during this, but Raziel is a warlock, which is the first we've seen pretty much throughout the entire 17 weeks that we've played Court of Swords. In fact, we weren't allowed to play them, so when Adam said that we could play them as Aasimar, I kind of jumped at the chance. I think I'm playing a fallen Aasimar, which means that all three of us are different Aasimar. We've got the Protector, we've got the Scourge, which is Dan, right? Mm-hmm. Gassy is the Protector, then I'm the Fallen, which I think means I can't fly, and you guys can.
Only one of the three of you get the flying. The Scourge gets the like aura of killer light. The Protector gets the wings that can fly, and then you get the skeletal fear wings.
Yeah.
I get to fly.
Well, wait. So he doesn't. He gets what wings that make people.
They're like broken and skeletal, right? It's a metaphor.
We'll get into what Necrotic Shroud does later on, I'm sure. But I'm pretty excited for it, regardless. So the story with Raziel is that he kind of pissed off a lot of the wrong angels, and he also would in doing so and seeking out the Mara to kind of harness their power for the good of the world, upset them. And a lot of people think it was the wrong way, or still do think it's the wrong thing to do. So they basically banished me. Say, get the fuck out of here. We don't want the Mara in this realm or in this world. So they banished me kind of down to the mortal realm. And I get around by basically having an alternate life. No one really ever sees my face. I have deception and a disguise to where I'm a royal in one of the cities, and I don't really go out much. I kind of just stay inside the house and don't have a family or anything. But aside from that, I'm pretty much always talking to the Mara and trying to figure out ways to use them against themselves. So that's kind of what my character is.
Yeah. So I guess the question for the three of you, like, it sounds like Raziel, you were raised in the kingdom of heaven, right? You were raised among the celestial bureaucracy.
Yeah.
You lived in the shining crystalline halls of the fountain when you were a child, but you've been banished to the earth because you're unsafe to keep around.
Right. Yeah. There was a couple things where the Mara didn't really bend to my will, and some bad shit happened because of it. So they just didn't want me around.
Well, it is a dangerous power, but I think there's also, there's a faction among the powers above that see some merit in your research, that think like, oh, maybe if you can control their power for good, then maybe that's a way that we can defeat them. So you've been spared and exiled instead of flat out killed.
Yep.
Now,
I should also state, I took the at level 3. What is it called? Did I not fucking write it down? It's the I worship basically the path of the old gods, and so that's the Mara are kind of the old gods in that way. If people are wanting for class specs and everything like that.
Yeah, and you're Pact of the Tome, right?
Yeah, Pact of the Tome.
Cool. Okay, so you're reaching deep into the ancient parts of history to find powers buried, maybe before the Mara really like fully came to be. But it is dark. It's dark stuff. It's definitely not the source of power that comes from the fountain, and so can't be controlled. And so of course they're like, you go mess around in the mortal realm, so we don't have to worry about you corrupting heaven with your powers. But you have protectors, right? You have people who are set to work with you and look after you, whether it's a position of honor or punishment is sort of up to them to decide. But Azrael and Volnak, you have been assigned by the bureaucracies of heaven to keep an eye on Raziel and to watch for signs of corruption. Now, it sounds to me like the two of you were raised among mortals, though. You like lived in the mortal realm, right? Definitely, Azrael. You have like was your brother an Asmar too, or was your brother human?
He was human. He was. My parents had me, which was must have been a divine act because they birthed an Azamar, and then the other brother was human.
Right. Okay. So I think the thing here is that then, like how, and then there's a question we can answer together. How are like Azamar aren't necessarily bred from like an angel and a human. There are other ways to become divine born. Like when you're born, like your spirit is reincarnated with divine energy, or how do you figure that works?
I was reading in the book that like usually Azamar are raised among humans. So I'm guessing sort of maybe like divine intervention, like the child's soul was replaced with an angel's soul, or
right,
birth or something like that.
Yeah. Like there was a probable chance that you could have like not been born properly at all. Like you could have died in childbirth, and then they were like, okay, well here we see great things in this character's future, and so they imbued your body with the spirit of an angel. That's cool. I dig that. That's awesome. So yeah, you have is the rest of your family alive, or?
Pretty much everyone died in the battle.
Right. Okay. And so who in your village was responsible for that, right? Because the Mara don't just show up and wreck shit. Somebody has to like kind of let them in. Someone has to embrace them.
I assume the leader of the town was slowly being corrupted over time by the Mara. He was doing experiments, dabbling in necromancy and getting powers from the Mara, and corrupt. And then one of his experiments went awry, and
you never dabble in necromancy.
Yeah, if you're gonna go in with the necromancy, you got to go all the way, and you don't dabble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the mayor of the town you grew up in became slowly corrupted by the Azamar or by the Mara, and cool. And you were there. You survived because of the sacrifice of your brother. All right. And so Volnak, you were raised. Oh, and I guess actually before we get to it, then where is your character? Where's your character from? What court do you come from? If you were raised in mortal lands.
Me?
Yeah.
Probably Court of Coins. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Okay. So somewhere in the north. The Court of Coins is the biggest of the courts too. So just based on statistics, you're more than likely to come from there. Okay. Cool. All right. So Volnak, you grew up in like human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was of the mortal realm.
You know from birth what your nature was, or did you discover it later?
I think he discovered it later as he grew up. and saw just the Mara's influence and just how just disgusting the evil, encroaching in the world in general around him. He just decided that he wanted to stand for something that was powerful and divine, and he always looked up to and heard of mystical, like angelic sort of beings, and always aspired to be one of them. He truly wanted to do good kind of thing, just because of all the horrible things he'd seen around him. Grew up in a town that basically not ravaged by the Mara, but people that respected the Mara, and kind of like wannabe-ish people, people who kind of worship the Mara.
Oh yeah, totally.
Touch, and they kind of got out of hand with that and decided to just go on a killing spree. Eventually, it was like tensions in a town. It just came to a head, and his mother ended up getting killed as such. And I think it was at that moment he's like, "That's it. This is what I'm doing. Like, this is my life. I will protect those who need it." Because he was unable to protect her simply because he was younger and didn't have the means to. And now that's what he's done with his life. And thankfully, eventually the divines took notice and ascended him to this level and being that he's at now. So he's devout to protect those who are weak, who don't have the ability to defend themselves. And although he's merciful, if he's met with an opponent that he knows to be evil, or just will not see the light, basically will not understand that the divines and truth and justice is what is good, then he will destroy them, because there's no room in this world in his mind for anyone who decides to poison it in his mind.
So do you have any resentment for the celestial bureaucracy for not giving you the power to protect your family earlier? Like they could have embodied you with all this magic. And
I think that's a struggle that he keeps hidden inside himself. Like, he every now and then will think back to it in different moments that kind of conjure up that sort of that memory of his mother being taken away. But he decides to focus less on what could have been done and what more can be done. But yeah, I think there is an internal struggle with him sometimes, and it's happened before in the past where he's faced evil where people question that. Like they don't outright know exactly what happened in his past, but definitely can sense that sort of weakness in him. And he tries his best, to live in the light and not let the pull from the dark side and dark things of the world get the better of him. But there's definitely that inner struggle of it's not massive, but it's something there, in the back of his mind.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So I guess and this is a question as much for Raziel. Do Azrael and Volnok know about your pact? Do they know about the darkness you're carrying around? And if so, how much?
Well, I guess a question that I have to answer that is, how long have you guys been my guardians? Would you say? Are you newly assigned? Do we know each other for a long time? What do you think?
That's an interesting question, because that's a lot of
Yeah, well, and I think the thing too to think about is, I know in the by the book, Azamar lived to be 150 or whatever, but I actually like the idea that once your divine spark is awakened, you'll reach maturity and then never age past that. Now there are old Azamar, but that's only because the divine spark didn't awaken in them until they were 60 or whatever, later in life. But if you were raised as an Azamar, if you were raised in the halls of the fountain, or if you were awakened early, that kind of locks you in at the prime of your life, and then you just never die except by violence. And even then, when you're killed, the spark is carried on and given to someone else. I think that all three of you have a connection to eons past of other carriers of your personal divine spark, and that in the halls of the celestial bureaucracy, there are records. So maybe you can't go there personally, but some scribe in this ancient infinite hallway can find a record of everyone who's ever carried the spark that you carry, and look at your character's past. And then in the halls of heaven, you're judged by not only your own actions, but the actions that came before, who bore the spark.
I like that.
Yeah, and so you can die, but your immortal soul, the thing that Azrael inherited, that moment of protection or whatever, that stuff came from someone else, and you'll have like visions occasionally, or dream about ancient things that came before, things you'd seen in ages past.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all can be as old as you want, right? You could be like, yeah, I received the spark 100 years ago, or it can be recent, and you can have known each other for as long or as shortly as you like.
Yeah, I would say that we like recently came into contact with each other,
Mm-hmm.
like
Did,
maybe a couple weeks.
for all of us, or did the two of you know each other?
I like to think my character, I think he senses something in that, like you're speaking about the, like how we carry on this spark that has been going from, person to person or whatever. I think he senses that about Raziel. What is that? How is it pronounced? What did you said it?
Raziel.
Raziel. He senses that their paths have crossed before, and perhaps he wasn't always as I don't want to say corrupted, but as fallen and as downtrodden as he used to be. Like he used to be drastically different. This being, like his soul was not always corrupted like this.
That works. I think also too, when I was kind of expelled from the other place of being, that was like widely known. Like it happens rarely enough that whenever it does happen, like there's a decree sent out for people of that know of that or that live in that world, that has happened, so that everyone knows not to be friendly with him, or to be on your guard with someone like that, someone who's a fallen Asmar. There's only I don't know how many, but there are not many, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a set number of whatever you are of Tianxi or Asmar or whatever you want to call them. There's a set number in the world, some like spiritually significant number, like 555 or whatever. And each spark of reincarnation that gets passed along has a record, but sometimes they go dark, right? Sometimes bad things happen. It's very rare, but when it does, yeah, there's definitely like a celestial decree. And there will be basically any creature that's sensitive to those things, other Azamar or creatures like Kyrian, they'll be able to see you and know that something is like wrong about you. In the same way that you can recognize, servants of the Mara, by concentrating, you can kind of recognize each other.
Right. I think also too, when I'm disguised as my other identity, you guys can still see the shadowy skeletal wings kind of behind me, or coming out of my back, even though they're not there for everyone else.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to say that the three of you, and then all other like tieflings and Azamar, are sort of sensitive to each other's presence. It doesn't necessarily mean, especially on the mortal plane, it doesn't mean that you're just like straight up enemies immediately.
Right.
But like you'll recognize other like part celestial creatures at a glance.
Yeah.
You can make an effort to hide that. Part of your like disguise skill is disguising your like spiritual nature. But for the most part, mortals like humans and dwarves and gnomes and stuff will just go about their business and assume that you're human. Like what did and this is the thing again, you can all talk about it together, but like, do you just look human? Do you just look like really like could we tell you apart from a person just by looking at you?
I mean, I think for me, no, because my background is charlatan, so I went on to understand how disguises work and all of that stuff. So I look as normal as anyone else when I'm in that, basically.
Yeah, I would say that I look pretty much like a human, but a little more of a perfect human, a little more beautiful. The skin's perfect. Hair is a little more blonde than normal. Just like this, just a slight hint of almost perfection.
Yeah, and it's not always, and this is the thing. I think that can be true of all like all tieflings and Asmar, that it's like you're someone's idea of a human, but without the creativity to put in like flaws in an organic seeming way. So you can have a high charisma or a low charisma just depending on how like well crafted you are, and yeah, you're able to sort of hide that. hide that appearance by introducing flaws into your look. But yeah, for the most part, I like the idea of like slightly idealized humans. Like you're a little too right.
I like to think that there's like an indistinct glow about us that people can't really place, you know, in addition to that, you know.
People are drawn to fear or respect or love or admire or whatever but aren't always sure why.
Yeah.
And it'd be confusing. It'd be confusing for you as before you realized kind of your divine nature, because you'd end up in like friendships or relationships with people who like really like you but can't explain why and have like conflict about that, where they're like, wait, this is weird. Like you're being an asshole, but I can't help but kind of find you appealing.
I think part of Volnak has actually kind of grown to like, yes, okay, yeah, you're drawn to me, you know, like that kind of thing, where it's like at first it was neat and he liked it, but now it's kind of just like, all right, it's a part of being. It was almost like a little annoyance, you know.
Sure, yeah, because like these mayfly creatures are drawn to you like a moth to the flame, and they don't understand why.
He's not usually rude about it, but it's just internally, it's just kind of like an extra thing. We're just like, all right, okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, it makes it hard to have like relationships with people or whatever that feel like real, because you're not sure if they actually like care about you as a person, or they're just drawn to your weird angelic energy.
Dan, we pretty as fuck.
It's true.
Dan, I have a mental image of what you look like, and I need to know if it's close or nowhere near.
It's kind of like an ideal human, so it's like pretty much what I look like now.
It just looks like you, yeah.
So okay, because I was going like, I thought you were I was going like the Tariq route from League of Legends, where like you had a sword instead of a hammer, but you were just like a very pretty person.
But, yeah. I'm a very
long flowing blonde hair.
Very beautiful man with blonde hair. I can have hair and role play.
Okay, yeah. Closer to Fabio maybe than Tariq, perhaps.
I think it's shorter hair because
okay,
long hair is not a good battle thing to have.
Sure.
The interesting thing would be that you wouldn't have like culturally significant attractiveness like indicators, right? Like it would have to be like at the instinctive level, right? It's not about your character's style. There's just something about them that's charismatic, because you're equally as interesting or attractive to anybody, regardless of what like what culture they come from, which is hard to do and kind of cool, and also makes you weird and inhuman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. I like it. So Volnak and Azrael, were you how are you given your like orders to take care of Raziel? Because Raziel, you're the one with the mission, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I want to know, like, how do you get the mandate of heaven? Did you have a dream? Did an angel appear to you in the middle of the night? Like, what was that like? How are you called to find Raziel and protect and sort of manage him?
I dreamed of it. All my visions from the heavens come from in the form of dreams. It's either from heaven or the sword itself feeding information to me, where I just see visions of a person, and I just somehow a person or a place, and like I just somehow know without any words that what I'm supposed to do when I see that. It's sort of like a prophecy almost. Yeah,
for sure. That makes sense. Yeah, like some mortals will receive one prophetic dream in their whole life, and it makes them a great, powerful figure. You have prophetic dreams all the damn time, and it's just a question of like sorting them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
cool.
I think for him it also was a very specific dream, and when he had it, he knew exactly like what it meant, just because he had heard of this sort of thing happening before in long times past. And it kind of took him by surprise. But I think in this dream too, it also showed like a glimpse of what he used to be, and then just kind of like a manic kind of montage cut to how he became where he is now, and in an area where to find him.
Nice. Yeah, so Volnak, you and it sounds to me like your connection to Raziel isn't about Volnak and Raziel. It's about whatever the higher spark was, like maybe 1 or 10 or 15 generations ago. The two of you had a connection. Maybe you were like brothers in battle or something. Like there's some powerful connection between you. Then that's kind of what draws you to.
When he had this dream too, I think immediately after he woke up, he just immediately painted his face just as a reference to know exactly what he was looking for, because it was so clear in his mind he couldn't. It was like burned into his head until he put it on the paper.
That's awesome. I just imagine you carrying around like a bunch of like rolled up canvas, like paintings of.
He does, and this is the thing he does, like very like things that he needs to remember, things that are important to him. He has just scrolls of things and like, you know, canvas and stuff like just with him, things that are important, and he never wants to forget. He just puts them down and then it's imprinted.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost reverse, like how people will see something visually, and I don't know. It's just until he actually puts it down on paper, then it becomes just solidified to him. Like then it can finally rest in his mind. He finds himself painting a lot.
Yeah,
I guess it's
it.
a way of like people dream. It's almost like the way he dreams is he meditates and paints, and that's how he sorts out through his thoughts and things that are important to him.
That's really cool. I'm imagining like if you have some time between sessions, like look up like 9th century Chinese like watercolor paintings and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like that idea. Rad. Okay. Cool. So the two of you were drawn to him in dreams. So when you were Raziel, when you were expelled from heaven, those who supported you, and I don't think you've ever like met them face to face. There's a sort of shadowy cabal among the halls of heaven that think like, okay, the Mara, maybe we can trick them, maybe we can use their power against them. You are among them as someone who has made a pact with one of these dark entities and is taking the fall for it. But you've been given this mission. Are you still in contact with the other sort of members of your rebel angelic cell, or have you sort of been cut off from them? Did they just like give you like, go here, do this? We'll keep an eye on you, but don't try to contact us.
I think it's like a one-way message. Like they can send me things, but I can't send them anything. Mm-hmm. Like it can come down to me, but I can't go up to them in that sense.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
So every once in a while I'll get, something, and I either have to act on it or don't act on it. It's my decision, but it's a one-way street.
Right. And you're being watched over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, Volnak and Azrael, implicitly that your mission, your mandate from heaven is to keep an eye on Raziel, help him achieve heaven's goal for him, but if he gets out of hand, if he turns to the dark side, put an end to him. That there is this possibility that he could become uncontrollable by heaven. So there's a bit of an uneasy tension there, I imagine. And then Raziel, that they're here to look after you, to help protect you and keep you safe while you pursue what you're pursuing.
Yeah. I don't think of them. I don't think there's animosity between any of us. Maybe you guys have animosity towards me, but I don't. I'm not like upset that you guys were sent here. In fact, yeah. I'm probably happy about it because now I don't have to. When things fuck up, I don't have to deal with it on my own.
Yeah, I think my character just wants an excuse to strike you down for what you're doing after, because the Mara is not something that my character is very cool with. But
do you have any experiences with the Mara?
Other than the death of my family at a young age, I still haven't like combated them. I've found I've been training and I'm ready to set off to finally like start combating the Mara. And when I was about to do that, I got the message that I need to go to you. Like you need to go to this person and don't harm him. You need to help him. And I don't feel good about it, but I'm doing it.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like you may never, aside from this one horrible event, you may never have seen like an actual demon in person, but you've definitely seen their influence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, I mean, as is traditional, I believe the first thing that you would have done when you first met was have your fortune told to connect the three of you together. So, who wants to go first? What connection should we figure out? Everybody needs connections to everybody else, so there should be.
I would think that my connections to them would kind of define the group in a sense, or also their direction. Them to me and me to them, since I'm kind of the reason they're here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or the reason that we're together at this point.
Okay, well,
So I'll go first.
Let's start with Raziel and Azrael. Let's draw a card for you. All right. So, looks like the 5 of coins.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't look good. That looks like some destitution. That looks like
boy.
And this is between me and who?
This is between Azrael and Raziel.
Okay.
So the 5 of coins. The 5 of coins is a card representing hard times, ill health, and rejection. So a sense of insecurity, a coming period of hardship, struggling to have what one needs. It generally means that there isn't going to be enough to go around. And that can result in neglecting one's spiritual, emotional, or physical needs, illness, like literal illness. And sort of more metaphorically, this card represents a rejection, being ostracized, feeling excluded, being forced into hermitage. I think it kind of fits.
Yeah, I mean, my interpretation of this is Dan doesn't like me, and I'm trying to prove myself to him the entire time.
Yeah, you
in any way possible.
Looking at you physically makes me ill, knowing what's inside. I'm not having it. Like, as a paladin, I want to just smite you down so hard, but I'm fighting it to do what the heavens told me to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's about like ill spiritual health too. It's about sickness, and so maybe that's something that Azrael sees in Raziel, right? You see an illness in him that needs purging.
Yeah. I think that's probably the other thing too. Is there's a juxtaposition of my demeanor as Raziel is very calm. I'm not an asshole. I just deal with really fucked up shit. But I'm still like, I'm not a fucked up person because of it.
Yeah.
I just deal with fucked up things. And I like when I'm not in the disguise in the city, I have, Mara's faces around my little skulls that are attached to my belt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that it's a constant reminder of your dead parents, basically. It's kind of how you
I'm not upset at you. I'm upset at the parasite I can see inside you.
Right.
Like, thing it's in there. I can sense it, and that's what makes me ill. Not so much
Get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whenever those circumstances come up in play, and there's a roll attached, this would be particularly useful for like medicine rolls, tending to one another's health, helping overcome like need. Hard times by way of like not having the things that you need, and either embracing or pushing away a sense of rejection. So showing each other, rejecting one another, or overcoming that, you'll have advantage on any of those rolls.
Great.
So that's a pretty cool one, actually. I like that. Okay, so do you want to do Raziel and Volnak now?
Sure.
All right, Raziel and Volnak.
Oh, no.
Oh, cool, good. Nice. All right, the
Great.
Hangman. So the Hangman is a card that represents sacrifice, renouncing one's claims, putting aside one's self-interest, giving up for a higher cause, taking a step back to take 2 forward. It represents a reversal of fate, a change, dramatic from one to another, and then letting go. Right, the release of what you want over what is. Being vulnerable, giving up control, and submitting yourself to the will of something greater than you.
I think that's your servitude towards me, like that, or towards guarding me in that sense. Like you don't want to do this shit.
It is, yeah. I don't want to be doing this at all. But it's literally like giving up my intense hatred for the Mara itself, and like just any sort of evil poisoning this world. And realizing that it's for a greater purpose, and that I've been asked this, to serve a higher power, the one that I believe in, and if I truly believe in it, then I'll accept the cards that have been dealt to me.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think that totally makes sense. So whenever one of you sacrifices something for the other, or does something that maybe is an immediate harm but for future gain, same thing. You'll have advantage on all those rolls.
Great.
Okay, cool. And then lastly, the connection between Azrael and Volnach is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups
Crazy looking cup, yo.
is the Queen of Cups is an emotive card, and it represents intuition, an almost psychic bond between the two of you, a powerful spiritual sense that you are both part of the same greater thing, a oneness with God and the universe, reverence for life, sees the universe as a holy place, open to the unseen, and overall it's sort of a tender-hearted, like gentle, like card. So the two of you have a bond that is subtle and kind of intuitive. That's about about your sort of feelings.
I think that
makes sense, since we're both there to protect, to watch over the same person, and we feel connected in that way because we're both divined by the heavens to do this thing together.
Yeah, I like that, and there is this bond between the two of you that, like, you care for one another because you both share this burden of caring for and watching over Raziel. Even though individually you have a hard time kind of with Raziel on your own, and he represents something dangerous for you, you can support each other in doing that.
Yeah. Can we also talk about that little baby in the chair, like in the bottom right, just kind of like, what up?
Yeah,
just kind of sneak in there.
There's cherubs all over her chair. Look, there's two up at the top too.
Oh yeah, look at them, those sneaky beaks.
They're just hanging out, checking out her sweet holy grail. Actually, if you look at the cup, it's kind of got like an Ark of the Covenant thing going on.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah,
angel statues on either side, and this is the queen kind of reflecting on the bounty of her emotive power. Cool. All right. So Raziel, you've been given an opportunity upon being exiled from the kingdom, from the divine bureaucracy. You were sent down to the earth and placed in a very specific place to investigate some Mara activity in that area. Now it's implied that you're here to like deal with it in the traditional way, right? That you're here to like get rid of and uproot and destroy the Mara. But also there's this sort of undercurrent in your mandate that's like, yeah, but while you're there, you might find opportunities that could be of use to someone with your special talents. And so we see, I think the kind of opening shot of our little mini series together. We can see the familiar misty forests of the Shulin Valley. But this time, instead of wandering south to go to the fortress where Kukrit runs his scheme from, we instead track north, and just above the mist, kind of out on a rocky outcropping, hard to reach, is the ancient monastery of Baya. It's a Court of Coins monastery, sacred to many of the stages of the Arcana, and home for millennia to the wise and learned monks of the Court of Coins in this region. And I think that we see the three of you coming up the road towards the monastery. You're coming from the sort of northern parts of the Court of Coins together. And how do you look? Are you like, road weary? Are you looking like excited? What's the general state of the characters that we see as we kind of pan down towards you?
How long have we been traveling, would you say?
I mean, that's up to you guys.
Yeah, I think it's up to us a little bit.
I mean, the Shulin Valley is a little out of the way. It's sort of it's not hidden, but it's on the border between the two kingdoms. It only has a few villages. So you would have been traveling for a little while since the last settlement, but you can have rested on the road and all that. It's not as though it's a death march to get here.
I think Volnach's looking relatively bright. He's in good spirits, determined to focus on this task and and help Raziel along his path.
Dan, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm looking pretty energetic.
Pretty.
You know, just
Also pretty.
I'm pretty. You know, got a Balder over my shoulder, just holding it. Just walking with the you know, the might of the paladin, just like very confident, walking down the road.
I think Raziel, when we travel out, not in a dungeon, basically, I'm not walking around with my normal garb on because it's just got Mara bullshit
Right.
runes and different Mara faces, upside down faces and stuff hanging off my belt. And so I'm dressed up as my my alter ego Alistar Hackett, which is just I look to be as noble as possible, even though I'm not at all. I can't act it very well, but that's what I try to be. So I'm probably in the middle of both of you with my arms behind my back, just walking down the road with a smile on my face and my hair pulled back.
So do the other two, how much they know about your like alternate identity, like Lord Hackett?
I mean, I think I that's how they met me. That's how they first found me because I was in a town or a city, and that's when they first approached me. And they called me by my name Raziel, and so I knew who they were right when I met them, and so I brought them in and kind of told them what was going on in my life in the village and how that all went down or how that all goes down, and not to tell anyone, obviously. And I think you guys are probably understanding of that because I can't just walk around with giant things that say, "Hey, I use the power of the Mara."
Yeah.
I feel like people would take issue with that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
all three of you have a you have this instruction to like keep your nature a secret except in only the direst circumstances, right? Like if you pop your wings out in the middle of a busy town, things will get more complicated for you maybe than they need to be. The Aasimar are an option for player characters in the game, but they're incredibly rare in the world. Most people will never see one in their life. It's a life-changing event for an average person. So,
Yeah.
What was would we be aware of like what mission that we're on right now? Like,
yeah. So, I mean, you're here to investigate the corruption of the Mara in the Shulin Valley, and I think you can feel it. Like every day you get closer to this place, you can feel that there's like a dark wound in the earth, seeping, black blood. So you're drawn to this place. Some of you to purge it, others to tap that dark well. But you can feel it getting closer. So you want to settle up in the monastery, maybe ask around, go into the valley, check it out. Like, you're here to investigate this scene. So cool. Okay. Well, why don't we take a break here and we'll open our next scene with you coming into the monastery proper, and I can tell you kind of what home base looks like.
Great. All
That's
right,
it?
we'll take our first break. Still got 3 hours left to go, and then RollPlay Blades a little bit later tonight, so don't miss that as well. We'll be right back. More Quarter Swords coming up right after this. We'll see you then.